Good night. Hello, everyone in the Black Educator Circle. For those of you who are watching this on YouTube, how's it going? I miss everyone. It's so good to see everyone on here. If you're in my private Facebook group, the Black Educator Circle, BEC, hello. It's good to have you guys. How's it going? I hope all is well. I have not been live for a little bit because last week we had an amazing challenge. We had some awesome participation in the six-figure educator challenge last week. Those of you who participated, listen, I hope you enjoyed it as much as I did, because we sure did enjoy having you guys. And so for my participants, I hope you guys had a good time. And for those of you who are just tuning in, just logging in, it's good to have you in here. Listen, guys, if you are asleep, I understand. The time is 8:27 p.m. East Coast time. And so if you're asleep, I get it. Today is Wednesday, and so you still have Thursday and Friday to go. But I just wanted to drop some nuggets about balance. This month in the BEC, we are highlighting self-care. Why? Why are we talking about self-care? Because we are talking about how to preserve yourself. Because time after time after time, you feel completely depleted. And if you feel depleted, if you can't pour out, right, then you can't continue to be a blessing to people in your workplace, to the students that you serve, to the teachers and educators that you serve, if you cannot pour out. So with that being said, guys, this week in the Black Educator Circle, we are talking about not only stress management, but every Wednesday this month, for the month of November, will be Wellness Wednesday. So we're having Wellness Wednesday every Wednesday in the month of November. Why? Because time is flying. Guys, can you believe that we're in November already? Time is, listen, time is gone. Time is literally gone. And so because of that, guys, I understand that burnout is real. And so we are highlighting burnout this month. We're really talking about how you guys can prevent burnout, how we can still be our best and lead in the most efficient and effective way while not burning ourselves out. So that is what we're talking about in the month of November. I hope you stick with us because it is crucial to your leadership. This month will be crucial to your leadership. This month defines how long you're going to be able to lead. It really does. We don't talk about it very often, but a lot of our educational leaders, especially our Black educational leaders, you know, we get burnt out. We get burnt out, and we do it year after year after year. But there sometimes comes a point where you just can't give anymore. You can't give anymore. You're depleted. You've had enough from parents. You've had enough from students. You've had enough from honorary faculty and staff. You're done. You've had it up to here. Enough is enough. And so we're going to talk about that this month. This month, we're talking about preventing burnout, especially with our educational leaders, especially with our educational leaders. If you are not an educator, if you are not in education whatsoever, this month can still be beneficial to you. Why? Because we're dispelling myths of balance, work-life balance. We're talking about practical tips and tricks and how you can apply these things to your everyday life so you too can achieve the proverbial balance, or what I like to call harmony, as you work. All right, guys, look, let's continue. I am here, and as always, I am broadcasting live from Philly. Where are you watching me from? Drop that in the chat right now. I want to know. I want to see how far, how wide this broadcast is going to go. So where are you watching this from? Drop it in the chat right now. I want to see. I got people on here from Houston. It's good to have you. I got people from New York, Atlanta. Wow. So I got people in the building tonight, which is dope. Still nobody from the West Coast. West Coast, where are you at? Go ahead. I want to see you. If you're if you're watching me live from the West Coast, I've never been to Cali. It's one of my life goals to visit California. Houston, Texas, in the house. I see you, and it's good to have you on here. If you're watching me from Cali, I just need a couple of people from California. That would make my day. I've never had anyone from the West Coast watching me. So if you're watching from Cali, go ahead and drop a hello in the chat. If not, just drop where you're watching me from. We're talking about work-life balance, finding work-life balance this evening, and the myth of work-life balance. The myth of work-life balance. Guys, this is a myth. And if you bought into the propaganda, I'm so sorry. We're going to dispel that tonight. We are going to dispel that tonight if you brought into the propaganda of actual work-life balance. We're talking about the myth of work-life balance. I'm then going to just touch really quickly on what influences balance. What factors influence balance? Lastly, we're going to talk about practical approaches to personalized balance. Practical approaches to personalized balance. As I always say, I am not going to be on here long. I want you to stick with me. If someone can go ahead and drop the notes in the chat, if we have a good note taker, if you can go ahead and drop the key points and the key notes in the chat, we will be forever grateful to you on tonight. So let's go ahead and dig deep. I'm going to dispel the myth of work-life balance first and foremost. So a lot of times, especially as educators, we hear, life is about balance. Life is about balance. And we even teach our students and talk to our faculty and staff about maintaining the perfect proverbial balance, right? Life is about balance. Let me tell you something. What is work-life balance? What is that? Let me ask you this question. What is work-life balance, right? There are tons of misconceptions about work-life balance, what it is, what it should be, what it is to one person may not be what it is to another person. And we're going to talk about that tonight. But I want to welcome this discussion of work-life balance because it becomes so ingrained in our conversations and in our coaching that it's crazy when a coach tells you work-life balance is a lie. Work-life balance is a complete myth. I put it in the chat today in the BEC. I said, how many of you all believe in work-life balance? And I had a few say, no, that's crazy. It's just unattainable. And I actually had a coach that said, no, I believe in work-life balance. It's absolutely true, right? And so there's this myth that's going on. And I wanted to begin by dissecting this myth, dissecting this concept. When we talk about work-life balance, what in the heck are we really referring to, right? Because it's portrayed as this ideal state where you work and personal life, that your work life and your personal life, they exist in this perfect equilibrium, this perfect balance, right? And it's like when you set scales and there's a perfect balance between the two sides. Everything is nice and neat and it's perfectly balanced. But I want to challenge that way of thinking. It's more complex than you actually think. It's a lot more complex because who's to say that my balance, my perfect balance between work and life is your perfect balance between work and life? The perfect work-life balance is actually impossible to coach because what one client is looking for is not what another client is looking for, and it's not what the third or the fourth client is looking for. It's darn near impossible because it's so personalized. And so I want to just dispel that work-life myth, because if you're looking for it, right, because others around you have found it, I want to challenge your way of thinking. They've found what's perfect for them. You've got to find what's perfect for you. So it's not so much a work-life balance, more so a work-life harmony. There's a harmony that you're trying to find. And in that harmony, it may not be balanced, right? in your list of things to do on your plate, you may not find balance, but you will find harmony. So I'm here to give you a reality check, right? Work-life balance is personal. It's personal, and it's got to be personalized. Okay. Um, there's so many misconceptions about work-life balance. I wanted to give you this reality check, right? Because um, some people say, "Oh, you've got to find that work-life balance," and they're walking around and they're acting like it's found effortlessly. It's not. It's absolutely not. So there's nothing wrong with you if you haven't found it yet, because work-life balance is hard to find, right? And a lot of us strive to find this magical balance, right? While life keeps throwing curveballs at us. And then it is very common to find balance and then fall out of balance, or find that harmony, right? And then fall out of that perfect harmony as life keeps throwing stuff at you. That is natural and it's okay. It's okay. It's okay to feel as though last year you were perfectly balanced. And this year you don't know what the heck is going on, but you can't find your footing this school year. That's okay. That's okay, because sometimes you've got to recalibrate year after year after year as life changes. Some things that rocked with you when you were in your 30s may not rock with you when because you're in your 40s. And so that balance that you found a few years prior to this moment that you're still looking for, you may have to adjust certain things. You may have to adjust your priorities. You may have to adjust your mindset because your needs have changed. And so finally finding that balance or finding that harmony, right, may be a bit harder than it was in the past, but you'll find it. You'll find it. So I'm here to give you that reality check. It's not as easy as people say it is, guys. It's absolutely not. My first year of being an administrator was total chaos, total chaos. I longed for that balance that I had when I was in the classroom, and I could not find it. I couldn't find it. So, of course, my second year as an administrator, middle of the halfway through, I found that work-life balance. I finally found it. And it took a lot. It took a lot, but I found it. So you can find it too. You can definitely find it too. If we look at some statistics, right? Studies shown that a significant number of professionals, of course, including us educators, like we're reporting high levels of stress and feelings of imbalance daily. And so, what this tells me is that the pursuit of work life balance is leaving many of us feeling unsatisfied and overwhelmed. Another thing, major events such as COVID, right? That's completely thrown off your work life balance. And even though we worked through it as educators, right? Changes in life were so unpredictable during COVID that you may still be feeling the repercussions of that. It's okay, because we understand that not only education, but other industries have been permanently damaged and traumatized because of what happened during COVID-19. We just don't talk about it. But you could, in fact, be finding it hard to find work, to have that work-life balance because of COVID-19, because of the things, the traumatic things that you went through as an educator during that time. It's just the truth. We don't like to talk about it. We don't like to admit to these things. But facts are facts. Truth is truth. COVID-19 was traumatic for all of us. So why is it important to debunk this myth? Let's just talk about it. Why is it important to debunk this myth, right? And recognizing that work-life balance is not one size fits all is a major first step towards a healthier, sustainable approach into well-being. This entire month, the whole month of November, we are talking about well-being. We're talking about making sure that you do not burn out, that comes with emphasizing the importance of well-being. So, we're going to dive deep into the myth that is work-life balance, and we're going to explore factors that contribute to it. Most importantly, we're going to talk about how you can find your own unique path that we'll call harmony. Not work-life balance, but work-life harmony. It's a much better term. It's a much better term that I want everyone under the sound of my voice to begin to embrace. Now that we talked about that reality check, we had our little reality check. I want to re-emphasize this big misconception. Work-life balance is an individualized concept. Dr. Pride, what are you talking about? Guys, so the balance that I need, or the harmony, better yet, that I need in order to be healthy, in order to be of sound body and mind, is not the harmony that you need. It's not the balance that you need. So this is a very individualized concept. And because it's so individualized, I want you to dispel and disband all the myths that you're hearing from other people, because you've got to find work-life balance or work-life harmony for yourself. What helps you along? What revives and revitalizes you? What rejuvenates you? That's what you've got to find. So there's an individual nature of work-life balance that I want you to embrace because it's so individualized. I want you to reflect on your own values, reflect on your own priorities, reflect on your own boundaries, because this is what will drive what balances you or what harmonizes you. I would, if I were you, take a self-assessment and do some personal goal setting so that you too can find where that sweet spot is, right? What you will harmonize with. Why? Because work-life balance is an individualized concept. And so because it's so individualized, you've got to make sure that you're doing this for you. All right. I want you to also explore various factors that influence your perception of balance, right? Maybe coming home to a dirty house, maybe that throws your balance all the way off. So you've got to do things. During the week or even on the weekend to make sure that your home stays clean, because maybe that's a trigger for you, right? Maybe it's not a clean home. Maybe it's eating a nice full meal, sitting at the dinner table, right? To have a nice full meal. Why? Because all throughout the day, you're grabbing and going and grabbing and going, right? So maybe just stopping once a day, having that dinner, having a nice formal dinner once a day in peace and quiet in your home. Maybe that's what will bring about that harmony that you're looking for. But to each his own, right? For me, it's something different. For you, it's something different. But finding that is going to be key in this work-life harmony. There are practical approaches to doing this. And listen, like I said, I'm too short to be long-winded. So we're going to go through this real quick, right? Here are some practical approaches to personalized balance. Personalized balance. So I wanted to introduce to you the art of self-assessment, right? So in self-assessment, the first step is a critical step. I want you to take some time to reflect on your own values. That's what we're talking about when we say self-assess. So you've got to understand your values, your priorities, and your goals. What matters the most to you in your personal and professional life? Ask yourself this question. Because when you look at what matters the most to you, you've got to consider your unique circumstances, including your career stage, your personal commitments, and your support network. Where I am in my career is not where you are in your career. If you're new to this, then you're at a completely different stage in your career. And so what you need to find harmony is not what I need to find harmony. And I hope this is making sense. So self-assessment is number one. Number two, time management. Time management is number two. Effective time management is another key to personalized balance. You've got to explore techniques like time blocking, setting clear boundaries, and prioritizing tasks based on importance and urgency. I would implore you to prioritize your task list based on what is the most important, not just to you as an administrator, but of course to your leadership team. What is important to your direct supervisor? If it is the assistant superintendent, if it is the superintendent, what is the most important to them? And prioritize your task list accordingly. By managing your time efficiently, you can allocate it more effectively to your personal and professional pursuits. Here's my next thing: setting realistic expectations. You may have a laundry list of tasks to complete, but you've got to be real with yourself. Will I be able to finish 20 tasks, these 20 tasks today? A lot of times when we're not realistic with our goals and we're not real with ourselves, we continue to let ourselves down every single day. Why? Because we're not getting these 20 things taken care of. And in all actuality, you need to whittle that list down to your top 3 or 4 things. Make sure you target those things so that each day you'll have a victory. Guys, I got these 4 things done today, and these are my top priorities. Tomorrow, I'm going to get these next 4 things or next 3 or 4 things done, so that each day you'll have a small victory and it won't end in defeat day after day after day. I hope I'm making sense to someone. It's good to have you guys on here. I see you guys watching me. Drop a hi, hello in the chat. It's so good to have you guys on here. Look, you've got to also seek support. A lot of us feel as though we're too good or we've been in the game too long to ask for help. That's not true. You've got to seek support. Don't hesitate to ask for help and delegate tasks when you can. Whether it's enlisting help from colleagues or family members or creating a support network. We've talked about how important a support network is. We've talked about that because these things can alleviate the pressures and responsibilities that you have, and that makes it easier to maintain that balance that you're looking for. Definitely seek support. And then, of course, our theme for this entire month is self-care. Why is it self-care? We are going to avoid burnout. We see time and time again, our Black leaders in education are burnt out day after day after day, and many of them don't return. It's why this profession is a revolving door. It's a shame, but it is. So I'm emphasizing for this entire month the importance of self-care and the importance of avoiding burnout. Tips, tricks, and strategies on how to avoid burnout. So I can't emphasize enough how important self-care is, but you've got to prioritize self-care. Prioritize self-care activities because this is going to recharge you physically, mentally, and emotionally. It can be anything from reading a book. It doesn't always have to be going and getting a massage, right? It can be anything like, I'm going to sit for the next hour and I'm going to read a book that I enjoy. What I'm going to do is I'm going to work out. I'm going to take some time. I'm going to take 30 minutes out of my day and I'm going to go to the gym. I'm going to completely shut my laptop down. I'm going to shut my television, my TV off. I'm going to shut everything off and I'm going to go for a walk. I'm going to get some sun. I'm going to breathe the fresh air, right? That's also self-care, guys. Silence. You guys don't know the power of silence. Sitting in silence is also a form of self-care, right? Why? Because what this all does is it emphasizes, it helps you practice mindfulness, whatever you need to recharge that battery, right? And so with that being said, we're going to talk about self-care. All month, we're emphasizing self-care and the importance of self-care. Lastly, you've got to learn how to adapt and evolve. Remember, your path to balance is going to evolve over time. You may have found balance in your 20s and 30s, and now that you're in your 40s, you don't know what happened to it. Well, guess what? The path is going to evolve over time. So what worked for you back then may not work for you now. and it may not work for you in the future. That's 100% okay. That's entirely normal, you guys. You've got to stay open to adaptation and embrace change as it comes. So, I want everyone to keep in mind these practical approaches are tools that you can use to craft your unique path to work life harmony. Your journey is a personal journey, right? And by applying these strategies, you can better navigate the complexities of balancing your career and personal life in a way that aligns with your values and priorities. The last thing I want you to do, I want you to shift from a balanced mindset to a harmony mindset. You've got to shift your mindset. It all begins up here. And I know Coach Jackie right now is smiling as she's listening to me, but you've got to shift your mindset. It is so important to shift your mind from the balanced mindset to a harmony mindset. Why? Because first and foremost, once you learn the term balance, once you understand that the term balance often implies that everything should be perfectly equal, right? You understand how unrealistic that term is. The term balance, when we apply it to our everyday life, right? All it's going to do is frustrate us. It's just going to frustrate you. Why? Because everything is not going to be perfectly aligned with one another. So I want you to understand that I'm trying not to lead you in, I'm trying to remove that frustration of not having achieved work-life balance just yet. Understand that this thing is about harmonizing. It's about harmony. I want you to think of it as finding harmony in the different aspects of your life. Those different aspects may never be balanced, and that's okay. I will always choose my family, my children, my husband over my work. So will there ever be balance there? Never. Because this will always come first. My family will always be before my work, right? And so there'll never be balance there. So I shouldn't be frustrated. I'm not going to be frustrated and I'm not going to try to balance those two. Absolutely not. I'm going to, however, find harmony between the different aspects of my life. If that means coming home and giving my all to my family, putting aside my daily activities, then that's what that means. If that means I don't bring work home Tuesdays and Thursdays because I solely engulf in my mommy duties and embrace my children and my family, then that's what that means. And that's harmonizing for me. That's harmony to me. So I want us to understand we need to go from balance to harmony, go from balance to harmony. And I want you to also embrace your imperfection. It's so important to not get frustrated as we're trying to find harmony. It's very important to extend ourselves grace as we're trying to find harmony with the numerous aspects of our duties or activities or daily life. With that, guys, I want us to understand the takeaways, right? Here's our takeaways. Here's our takeaways. Work-life balance is different. It's not about balance, guys. It's work-life harmony. Work-life harmony is very personal. Work-life harmony is not a one-size-fits-all. I want everyone to hear me. It's not a one-size-fits-all concept. It's actually deeply personal, and it's unique to everyone under the sound of my voice. Your values, your roles, your circumstances, they all shape what harmony is to you. And so, because everyone has a different role, everyone has different values, different circumstances, right? Different responsibilities, a different home life, a different personal life. This work-life harmony will look different for everyone. So work-life harmony is personal. Keep that in mind. Also, while you try to achieve work-life harmony, you've got to embrace imperfection. Stop being so hard on yourself. Let go of the pursuit of perfect balance. It's a myth. You've got to understand that life is filled with ups and downs, and it's okay not to have all the perfect, all everything perfectly aligned all the time. It's okay to be finding and to be struggling to find harmony in your life. It's all right. That's a natural part of life. But in finding harmony, I want you to try to shift your mindset, right? I want you to go from seeking balance to seeking harmony. Cultivate that growth mindset that we talk about all the time in the BEC. You've got to be adaptable. You've got to practice self compassion. Stop being so hard on yourself while you're making the adjustments, while you're finding harmony, while you're shifting. You've got to stop being so hard on yourself, because the shifts in mindset are going to empower you to navigate all of life's challenges with grace. And that's what you need. Use these practical strategies. Explore practical strategies like self assessment, time management, setting realistic expectations, seeking support, and prioritizing self care. Because these tools, they can definitely help you craft your unique path to harmony. And lastly, just like education is ever changing and we have to always be adapting, you have to recognize that work life harmony is an ongoing journey that requires you to adapt, right? What works for you today may need adjustment in the future as your life evolves. And I need you to embrace that. I need you to stay open to change and adapt as needed. I want to remind you that you deserve work life harmony. You deserve it. And work life harmony is not a luxury. It's not. It's essential for your well being and effectiveness as educators. If you take these insights and these strategies with you, this is going to equip you to define and pursue your personalized work life harmony. It's going to happen. It may not happen immediately, but by the end of November, you will find that work life harmony that you've been looking for. Guys, if you're having a hard time finding work life harmony, reach out to me. I'm just a DM away. I stay in the Black Educator Circle, and I and Coach Jackie and Coach Reggie, we are here to help you. So definitely reach out. Like I said before, all month we're talking about self care. All month we're talking about self care. I thought I would kick off the month with dispelling this myth about work life balance. Because as we talk about harmony and self care, I want you to begin to embrace that every single aspect of your life may not be equal. You may need more self care and less, in another area. You may need more in one area and less in another area. And that's okay. We're going to find what works for you, because that's what's going to keep you energized. That's what's going to keep you going. I hope this makes sense to everyone, and I hope you enjoyed tonight. Again, I haven't been on here in a long time, so as I'm warming up, give me a little bit of grace. Let me know that you watched the whole thing, and if you want to see something specific to self-care, go ahead and drop that in the chat. I want to know, what do you want to talk about this month, as self-care and avoiding burnout is our topic. All right, guys, I hope you have a good night. It is late, and I will see you all tomorrow.